Hello, hello. It's Susan LaCroix and Julie Davison. We're here with Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie. We're so excited that you're joining us today. We have a very special episode for you this week. If you are brand new to our channels, welcome. Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie is our weekly video series on Sunday at noon Central Time, 1 o'clock p.m., where Mom and I share Stampin' Up! Projects. We each give our take on using the same kind of products, but today's episode is a little bit different. We've been wanting to do this for quite a while, and so we're really excited. Today's video is all about adhesive. We have a lot of projects and a lot of tips to share with you, so we're not going to chit chat like we normally do today. We're going to cut right over to our desk and start sharing. Mom, are you ready to go? I feel like it's like this I feel so much energy and so excitement about
Yep, I'm ready.
okay.
I am more than ready for this video. We have been trying to get this going for so long. So, all right. So what have you got to show us?
All right, let's jump in. So, um, we wanted to do a video where we talked about all the different kinds of adhesive in the catalog. So, oh, I tried to turn on my light and it's not working, but I think we're good. So, the adhesives on the annual catalog for May 2022 to April 2023, and you may be watching this video later and there might be a different catalog out, but in this catalog, the adhesives are found on page 127. And so today we are going to walk through all the adhesives on this page and show you how to use them and share some tips with you. We're going to start though with some adhesives that are part of a special adhesive pouch that Mom and I put together just for you. So if you're brand new or if you're running low on adhesive, then you'll definitely want to get this cute custom pouch. Let me take everything out and show you. I think I need to put another piece of cardstock in here so you can see the little logo on there. It says, "Warning, still plays with scissors and glue." I love this. And it is the perfect size to hold all of the essential adhesives that we use the most. So our adhesive pouch includes the multi-purpose liquid glue, mini glue dots, regular Stampin' Dimensionals, and tear and tape adhesive. The cost for all the adhesive, including the pouch, including the tax and shipping paid to Stampin' Up! Is $25. You can find the information in the video description to purchase this pouch from either Mom or me. So check that video description out. $25 includes porch pickup. So if you need it mailed, that will be extra for postage. This is for US stampers only. And Mom and I will both be including a little chart that shows you some suggestive uses for each type of adhesive. In this video, we're going to go through each adhesive type, show you how to use it, and share some projects that we've made with it. We're going to start with these 4 adhesives since they're included in the pouch. So, Mom, are you ready for a camera switch?
Yes, and I just want to add one more thing with this pouch because you can put more things. You can put paper snips. You can put a bone folder. You can put other things, a couple daubers maybe. So if you are a person, a stamper who goes to crops, if you're going to an event where you want to bring your own adhesives, this is a great way to carry them. Yep, look at that. You put a seal in there. Yeah. Load it up, Julie. Load it up.
Yes, my bone folders, I keep losing them. This is the broken one again. Yes, I love that you said that because it really holds a whole lot more. For this pouch, we really tried to focus on the adhesives that you would use up, right? So the Stampin' Seal, we didn't include that in the pouch because it has a the dispenser part that is reusable, and so if you already have one, you don't need another one necessarily. You would just need the refill, and some people don't use the Stampin' Seal. So we just, like I said, we just focused on the 4 adhesives that we used the most. So let's switch the camera around, Mom, and you can tell us all about our first adhesive, Stampin' Dimensionals.
Oh, all right. So we have 3 different kinds of Stampin' Dimensionals here. We have the regular size. I don't know if you can see this very closely here. I should just take it right out of the package, which I should have had done that before. So you get 3 sheets. So you get, boy, I never remember the numbers. You get 300 of regular Stampin' Dimensionals. And then the little mini, I'm so happy they came out with these minis. I don't have to cut dimensionals in half anymore. So on these, you get 720 on 3 sheets.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. And then we have something fairly new, which I keep forgetting about these. And I have some and I have them out, but I just don't think about them, I guess. But these are black. And again, you get 680. You get 2 sheets of the regular size black dimensionals and 2 sheets of the minis. So this looks like this. So when you take it off, it's all black on both sides. Is that not the coolest thing? So if you're working with darker cardstock, I think these are kind of a must.
You know,
Okay.
I never ever used the black Stampin' Dimensionals. I guess I'm just not I don't pay attention that much. But when you say dark cardstock, it does make a big difference when you're having a card and
Yes.
you have it popped up to have it be dark, you know, from all angles and not have this, you know, white sort not sticking out, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it really
yeah,
just makes it look polished.
it does. So here's a card that I used one on, and this is one of the snowflakes from the um the July through December mini catalog. These were a return from last year, and I stamped one of the crystal snowflakes, the big ones. And then I should have just brought one over and did it, but you can see I just popped it up, one dimensional in the center, popped this baby up. And it really
That's a
makes
great card.
it really does. So I have to show you a trick. And I should have written her name down. She's a demonstrator. And she I thought this was brilliant. Okay, so let's say you have 2 ovals that you want to connect, right? And so, I would put down one and then I would put some liquid glue and stick this down either, but watch this. All right. Oops, I'm sorry. So I want to keep these together. And then I'm going to take my dimensionals and I'm going to put like half on the outside oval and half on the inside oval.
Oh, that's so smart.
Isn't that brilliant? Oh, I wish I could remember her name. If you happen to be watching, thank you. And I'm sorry that I can't give you credit for this. And then she just said use a bunch of dimensionals, which you really kind of need to. So don't worry about it. I mean, you get so many in a package, right?
Yeah, there's a lot in the package,
And
especially
then
those little babies.
yeah. So then we'll just throw a couple in the middle. All right. So then you would just peel off all of those and then stick it right on your card. And Julie always points out that all of our label tags also need to have dimensionals on them to pop up. So
Always.
wasn't that handy dandy?
I do love that. Can you share the little tip? You always do this, and you probably don't even think about it.
Oh yeah,
The tip that we learned from Glenda Travelstead at convention, like literally 10, 12 years ago.
in Denver.
What is your little tip for getting the paper backing off the Stampin' Dimensional?
There you go. Thank you, Julie. All right, so let's do that. Let me bring this piece back with all of these. So she took her fingernail and put it halfway, just kind of in, and it peels right off, pops right off.
I love that.
Isn't that phenomenal? I have another trick that the same demonstrator who showed this on her video, and I need a piercer. I always have a piercer in here. And I don't have a piercer in here. Seriously, Susan. All right,
Oh,
let me grab one. It's right here. All right, what she did. Let's see if I can do the same thing because my mind was blown. She just took her. Let's see, I can't do it now. There we go. And then you could just keep going all the way around.
oh, that's so smart. I was just thinking,
Yeah,
what if you don't have fingernails? So
exactly.
there,
Or you
that's
have
the answer.
arthritis. Yep. So you could just keep stacking these on here. I'm sure it might take a little bit of a learning curve here, which I apparently need. So pretend I got them all off. So you got the stack here, and then instead of just throwing them on the floor or whatever, you can just quickly. Isn't that
I
brilliant?
don't throw anything on the floor. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, so those are my tips for some using dimensionals. Julie, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you covered it. I love that we have such a variety. And as just a reminder, it's the regular Stampin' Dimensionals that are in our adhesive pouch, and the other ones are available to order from our online store or during our in-person events.
Yeah.
You are next, Mom, with glue
Okay.
dots, so I'll let you keep going. It looks like you've got something fun over there on the right side to show
Ooh, I
us.
don't know. All right, so glue dots. They come in a box like so, and you get a roll that has how many? What do you think, Julie? How many do you think are on the roll? Don't look.
Oh, 500.
300.
Ah.
So this is how they come. This is what the roll looks like when it's out of the box. And I always just toss my box out, Julie. I know you kind of keep yours in there, which is probably a smart thing to do. So they're clear. I don't know that you can see them on
Yeah.
here.
Your
Okay.
camera's doing some funny things. I think it's that new phone.
You know what? It is. But the camera itself, Julie, oh, I did do a little bit of playing. Love it. Anyway, I digress. So let's talk about what we want to do here. So one of the things you can do, and this is not related to a project I'm going to show you, but so sometimes, if you're doing a lot of the same thing, just go ahead and stick them right on the glue dots, and then you can just peel them off. The glue dot stays, and then you can put them together.
Oh, I love that. Just putting them all on and having like a whole strip like that.
Just a whole strip. I'll do it one more time, just because I need to get these put together anyway. No. All right.
That's
There we
how
go.
I use my glue dots too. I put the piece, the embellishment on the glue dot on the
Yeah.
strip like that and then pull it off.
And I do the same things for ribbon. So I am going to bring a project out to show you, but let me move these daisies out of the way. And so you can do the same thing with ribbons. And I'm not sure why I do this, but I tend to put 2 on the ribbon.
Hmm.
I don't know that I've ever had them fall off, but I just feel like this gives me extra stability. Okay, so that's the best way, I think, to use the glue dots. However, I'm going to show you something else. These wonderful, fun little wood elements that I've been having a whole lot of fun with, and I've used some of the pearlized enamel from the July through December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, I would be tempted to go along and put some of these on here and just like go ahead and do that. However, I've broken a couple of them. So what I would recommend is that you peel it off. Normally I would not peel it off, but because this is so delicate, I would not risk putting the whole wood piece on here, because it doesn't take much to snap off one of these. Oops. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to show you the finished card front here. So then I would just place this where I want it and then put my my glue dot on. So
Oh, I
I
love
put that
that.
here. I put a glue dot there, and then I used our dimensionals to put the greeting on. And this is a card that flips up
Oh, that's so sweet.
and then opens up this way. So that
Oh,
is
I love it.
here. So that is how I use glue dots for this project.
That's awesome. I use glue dots in all the same way. To put on ribbon, to put on, small punched pieces like that. Sometimes to hold a corner down if I just need like a little more adhesive.
Exactly. Oh, I've done that same thing, Julie.
I love it. Okay, well, we're going to switch the camera over to my desktop,
All right.
and I'm going to share some tips for tear and tape. So let's
All right.
do that. One of my very favorite adhesives is the tear and tape adhesive. It comes in a roll like this, and it's called tear and tape adhesive because you can peel it and tear it off the roll, and you don't need scissors. So I love that it is so easy to use. And you always ask me how I get it to be just the right length. I messed it up right there. Well, one of the tips I have when you're tearing off your tear and tape is wherever you want to go. I usually just put my fingernail kind of right down there and I tear against my fingernail, and that helps me to get the piece that I want and tear it off easily. So the box that I'm making, tear and tape is really, really great for cards that have lots of layers. It's more of a heavy duty adhesive, and it's also really great for 3D projects. So this project I'm sharing today is the 246 box. We've been making this one for years. It's really, really easy. I've got a half a sheet of cardstock that's 8.5 by 11, scored at 2, 4, 6, and 8 inches, and then turn it and score it again at 2 inches. And then you just cut on all those score lines to create the bottom of the box. We'll have a link to the template in the video description for you in case you haven't done the 246 box before. So to fold this one up, I'm simply going to fold on the score lines. I'm going to start with this side tab, which I've used tear and tape on, and then fold this one over so it meets. And that creates the basic box shape. And then I'll use some more tear and tape adhesive and use it to glue the box closed. So I'm going to use a couple pieces of tear and tape on the inside. Ideally, I probably wanted to go all the way over, but it'll still hold. And that's for the bottom of the box. Then you can keep it open like this, or you can pinch it and add some additional embellishments like a tag, and you have the finished 246 box. So I definitely recommend the tear and tape adhesive for 3D projects like this one, or any 3D project where you're assembling a box or need heavy duty layers. So tear and tape, you can use it for regular card labels as well, layers as well, but the 3D is really where the tear and tape adhesive shines. And this one is also included in our adhesive pouch. Our next adhesive to share with you is the multi-purpose liquid glue. And of course, Mom's gonna do this one because it's her very favorite adhesive.
Yes, it is. And so before I continue, I want to apologize. I have a brand new phone, and I literally just started using it last evening and trying to play with it. And Julie has told me that it's coming in and out of focus and it's jerking. And so I just want to apologize for that. I think it has something to do with the settings in the camera, which is an awesome camera. But I will work with it and play with it before we do any more videos so that it will hopefully not be so bad. So again, my apologies. All right. So as you probably know, if you've been watching us for any time, this multi-purpose liquid glue, which is in our pouch, is my absolute favorite because you can use it literally on anything. So in our little chart, the Stampin' Up! Adhesives, I know you can't see it. So under multi-purpose liquid glue, it says cardstock and paper, small embellishments, large embellishments, glitter, 3D objects, and detailed die cuts. The only one they really don't recommend using this for is ribbon, because it can kind of bubble up a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to show you a few. You've watched me. If you've watched me at all, I use it a lot to put things on things. So that doesn't make sense. So I'm going to put this card insert in this card. This is the identical one that I used a little while ago, but in balmy blue, which I think I like better, but I don't know. I can't decide. I like them both. All right. So anyway, there is
Move up just a little bit, Mom.
Thanks.
There you go.
All right. So I like to use this tip. Now you kind of want to be a little bit careful because if you use too much of it, especially with designer series paper, you might get some bubbling. But this is a very forgiving adhesive because you can slide it around and get it where you want it. So for example, if I don't like the placement, if I get it too low, I can just kind of slide it a little bit because it takes a little bit to dry. But then when you do, you've got this great piece down. So, and the other thing about this one is that it has and I keep forgetting about this, but I just like that other tip. This has got a wider tip that you can then just kind of get a wider swath of
Mm-hmm.
multi-liquid glue. So I just wanted to share that. Okay. So that's cardstock on cardstock, man. All right. So I absolutely love our silicone mats. And so I'm going to show you a couple things that you can do. I also brought out some toothpicks. So we'll see. You can use this one of two ways, but if you want a little bit more control. So for example, I think I'm going to add some glitter or sequins to this card. Can y'all see okay? Oh, look at this. Coming out of focus. So,
Yeah.
all right. So I'm just going to put like a couple little dots of liquid glue around. And then you can take our pick tool, and it's got a little putty at this end. And so you can just kind of reach in here and grab a sequin and put it down. And same thing with another one. So this makes it kind of easy to do, right? You don't have to take a pick or you're concerned about getting them down. You can take our silicone mat and put a little bit of liquid glue on it and a toothpick and pick up some of the glue, and you can add some adhesive this way. And then you can either reach in with your hand and grab a couple little sequins and stick one on there. Maybe stick one on here. So that's another way you can use the liquid glue. So you can put small embellishments on, you can put larger embellishments on, and get the same look that you want. So anyway, Julie, that's what I use my multi-purpose liquid glue for. Do you have anything to add or any questions?
No, so mostly with the multi-purpose liquid glue, I use it for the smaller embellishments and like the glitter and the 3D objects. I don't use it as much for my card layers, although I know a lot of people prefer the multi-purpose liquid glue for their card layers. So, like you said, just so many ways. It is the one adhesive on the chart that is almost every like for almost every single category of use. So I'm going to turn the camera now and show you the adhesive that I prefer to put my card layers together. So the first four adhesives that we showed you are the ones that come in our adhesive pouch. Um, so again, that included the multi-liquid glue, the glue dots, the tear and tape, and the Stampin Dimensionals. So now we're going to turn back to the catalog and we're going to show you all the other adhesives on the page, starting with number 10 and number 11, which are the Stampin Seal and the Stampin Seal Plus. And the difference is one is light and one is dark, but also the Stampin Seal Plus is a little bit more heavy duty. And going back to that chart that we were talking about, it says that the difference here is the Stampin Seal Plus has a star under the 3D objects and accents, and the Stampin Seal does not. So it's really more for heavy duty jobs. You could also use it in place of the tear and tape for your 3D projects or your things that have the extra layers. And to be honest, I don't really use the Stampin Seal Plus very often. Sometimes I have problems with it, like pulling the cardstock, and so I just tend not to use it. So let me set this aside. And I'm going to demonstrate each one of these, but before I do, I just want to let you know, Mom, the adhesive sheets and the fine tip glue pen are next. Okay, so the Stampin' Seal is a refillable adhesive. It's a double-sided tape, and you really need just a very light touch in order to use this. I think a lot of people struggle with the Stampin' Seal because our previous Stampin' Snail required a lot more force to get the adhesive to run on the page. So it is our instinct to want to use more force than we need. There is sort of a little frosted part of the plastic dispenser, that's where your finger is going to go with your thumb down here around where the Stampin' Up! Logo is. And then you're just going to kind of gentle pressure to apply that to your cardstock. Again, just real gentle pressure. If ever it's not getting started, then you might need to just take your finger and sort of just move that adhesive forward a little bit so that the adhesive is at the edge where the cardstock will catch it. Why does that need to happen? Well, sometimes if you're not used to using it, you might kind of have this like the string. Did you see that kind of string thing? And when you have that string, it doesn't have a clean break, and so that's why it needs to be moved up a little bit so that it can catch on the cardstock. The Stampin' Seal Plus is used in the similar way, except the adhesive is thicker. And when you see it a little more up close, you can kind of see that the adhesive is made up of smaller strips. Let me show you close up of the two. The top one is the Stampin' Seal, and the bottom one is the Stampin' Seal Plus. And you can kind of see those little sections in the Stampin' Seal Plus. Can you see, Mom?
I
Is it
can.
showing? Okay.
Yep.
And so it's just a thicker adhesive. So it like I said, it's used in exactly the same way. It's just a little thicker, a little more heavy duty. Recently Jim picked up some packing tape for me for some packages I'm working on. And just like packing tape, there's different thicknesses and different, for different purposes. So that's the difference between the Seal and the Seal Plus is just that the Seal Plus is a little thicker, a little more heavy duty. Both of them are refillable, and the refills come in a plastic bag like this. And so you can tear the bag open. It has a little Ziploc opening. And I have been recycling these little plastic bags. It's got the little symbol on there. So I do recycle mine. You'll have to check your local recycling guidelines. But when you're ready for a refill, the two sides of the dispenser come apart. So just a gentle tug. And then the adhesive refill can be taken out and discarded if it's empty. Obviously, that one is not empty, so I don't want to. I don't want to discard it. When you're putting it back together, one side of the dispenser has several different notches or pegs, rather. And so this is the side where you're going to line your refill up. And there are different areas that line up with the pegs. So I'm going to just turn that and line those up. It should just kind of snap into place. And then you can take the other side of the dispenser and you can just nest that in, give it a little squeeze, and it's good to go. So you can refill these. Once you have one dispenser, you don't need to have another one. You can. I have multiples, but one dispenser and then just some refills, and you'll be good to go with the Stampin' Seal. I know you guys either love it or hate it. So leave a comment and let us know. Do you like the Stampin' Seal or not? And maybe you have some tips that I didn't share for using Stampin' Seal that might help others. Mom, do you have any additional tips for the Stampin' Seal?
Just a couple things. As you can see, maybe Julie, hold up one of the dispensers, and you can see Stampin' Up is on the inside dispenser piece, right along. I'm trying to point to the screen where it says Stampin' Up, right on the right. Move your right up, down just an inch, right there where it says Stampin' Up. There you go.
This says Stampin' Seal.
Oh, this is Stampin' Seal. Oh, my apologies. Anyway, so if you hold that side up and then place that over all those little notches, or not, but little pegs or whatever that Julie said, that's kind of a tip that I've given my customers. And the other thing is, as the roll empties, you'll see a red strip in there. And a lot of my customers will say, oh, this one's empty. And actually, you've got a little bit more in there. If you're like me and you want to just use it all up till it won't work anymore, just when you see that red spot, just know you're getting to the end, but you do have a little bit more to go on that one. Those are my two things.
I'm looking to see if I have one in my garbage can below me. I don't think that I do, but I know what you're talking about, the red strip. So just keep going until it doesn't go anymore. And if it's doing that and you haven't seen the red strip yet, then you're not done, and it may just be getting caught up.
Yep.
Okay, next up we have the fine tip glue and adhesive sheets. Mom, are you ready to show us some tips for
I
that?
am. I am. Okay, so here's the adhesive sheet package. Oh, I hope it's focusing okay. You get 12 sheets. And in these sheets, it's kind of divided into thirds. And I'll show you on my sample, actually. And these are great when you have fine detailed dies that might be a pain to put adhesive on. So what you do is you get your piece of cardstock that you want. And I don't know if you can see, well, here, let me just bend it in half kind of. And so there's another piece that would go on here. So when you do these, you're going to take off one section and put this on your cardstock, and you will get some snotty glue on your fingers from doing it. But then you just kind of push that in there, and then you're going to do the same thing with the other piece. That would wind up on my floor. Okay. And so we're going to put this on the rest of the cardstock. All right, then you're going to run it through your big shot, your die cutting and embossing machine. And so when you take it off, it's got this on the back, right? So it's ready then to put on your project. So I've got the Celebrate Sunflowers, and the sunflower dies is what I've used for this. And so you'll have some chads in here that you may need to poke out. But it'll have the adhesive on here. So I'm also going to see there's these little holes in here that you can kind of start moving away so you can take care of it. And usually when you start it, so of course, when I was making this in the beginning, there we go. And just take the adhesive right off. See how it came off in the strips? So that's gonna do. Once you get a few more off. Sometimes I find it easier to leave it on the die itself. And then we can start to peel it off. And it just pops right off. And then your adhesive is already on here. Now I will confess to you that I keep forgetting about this. So I have a trick for you. And this isn't going to line up perfectly. So I'm just going to stick it right here. All right. So this is a Let's Celebrate You. It's someone very special is going to get this. So if you, like me, forget to use your adhesive sheets, there is hope. We have our fine tip glue pen. And there's like can you see okay, Julie, on this?
Yeah, I can see the pin.
Okay, so there's a pin that comes out of it, and then there's this other little piece. And when you're done with it, it's really important that you put it back together. And I will confess my eyesight isn't very good. So
my tip for that, Mom, is to take your finger behind the pin so that you can see it and help to guide it back into the nozzle.
yeah, I will continue to work on that, but that doesn't always help. Just wait till your eyeballs are older, Julie. Oh, and now you're not going to work, are you? Oh, doggone you. Oh my goodness, I must have a clog. Oh, that's not fun. Now, let's see if this one will work. Oh yeah.
So this is why the fine tip glue is tricky, because if you don't get the pin back in the nozzle, it can get clogged up and make it hard to use. You and I, Mom, were both talking about how little we use the fine tip glue.
Yeah.
And we both kind of had to dig in our stash to see who had
We
one.
did. So yeah, but that's how you would use it. So I'll go back to my favorite.
So let's talk about the difference between the fine tip glue and the liquid glue. A big difference is the nozzle. So the fine tip glue has a much smaller spout that the glue is coming out of.
Yes,
Um, but the glue that comes out of the fine tip glue is, I would say it's like more fluid, and the
yes,
liquid glue with the green cap is more tacky
yes,
and sticky. And so it's going to take longer for the fine tip glue to dry.
yes,
So you just need just a little bit
yes,
on your project.
yes. And I apologize that my fine tip glue isn't working, but here's my fix. There's always a workaround, right, Julie?
Well, yeah. So, like, just kind of how we were talking about with the four basic adhesives that we use the most, there
Yeah.
are other adhesives, but you don't have to use every adhesive like in the
No.
catalog. You can find what you're comfortable with and what works best for you. And there's multiple adhesives for each type of need. Like you can use almost anything like on cardstock and paper. It's interesting. I'm looking at that chart, and the fine tip glue pen is the only one that's not starred under cardstock and paper, meaning that to adhere cardstock and paper together, Stampin' Up suggests everything else except
Yeah.
for the fine tip glue.
I'm gonna try something. So and we'll see if it works. All right. So I would either take the fine tip glue if I could get it to work, which was what I was going to do. But this dries clear. This is our liquid glue. And I'm going to put it on the inside. This may be a disaster. We may be
I
editing.
like where this is going.
So I brought out these iridescent elements. They're like, they almost look like bubbles, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to try.
Oh.
And it would definitely have to dry. Okay, I did see, and I did get it to work. Um, and I'm using our little powder pal to catch all these because, good Lord, you don't want these rolling around your floor and your table. Anyway, so this is just to give that little sunflower a little something, something. And then it would go on here. So let's celebrate you. And then congratulations on reaching a whole new level of wonderful. And I use some Wink Stella on here too, because I don't know if you noticed, but when you stamp this, it's just the outline of the petals. But I brought out the Wink Stella, and when I painted it, it kind of pulls some of the crushed curry into the flower itself and gives it just a little something extra. And I don't know if
Oh
you
my
can tell
gosh.
here.
Gorgeous. I love everything about this.
Well, there you go. So that is what I would have used this for. And I've gotten it to work. So my apologies that that didn't happen. But
So
there's so
I'm
many
looking
other.
at the chart, and I would say like with those effervescent embellishment things, you're probably better off using the multi-purpose liquid glue with the green cap. I'm not sure how
Probably.
well, because these are bulkier. I'm not sure how well the fine tip glue would hold up to those heavier embellishments. But what a great idea to put that in the middle of the sunflower, Mom. I love it.
Yeah, just a little something, something. Okay.
All
So
right, oh, go
the
ahead.
oh no, no, no. I was just gonna say that is the fine tip glue, which I wish I could have shown you how it worked. So let's see if Julie's little trick will work. Oh, Julie, you're brilliant.
Hey, all right. So using your finger behind the nozzle to help guide that pin in, I think is the way to go. But like we said, we don't really use that one as much. We kind of
No, I
use
don't.
the multi-purpose liquid glue and some of the other adhesives. So it's okay if you don't use it either. And if you love it, leave a comment and let us know what you love about it. And if you have any additional tips to share to use the fine tip glue pen.
And this silicone mat, just so you know, as I'm cleaning it here, adhesive doesn't stick to it. So you can
Yeah.
take a wipe or a paper towel, whatever, and just clean it. And look at that, it's ready to go again. I love these. I use them for multiple things, but I always pretty much have it out and sits in a drawer right behind me.
I forget about that one. It's so perfect for even like the stamp and seal. And if you run off your cardstock or go over the edge, like it won't stick to the silicone mat. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a great thing to protect your work surface by
Yes.
having that underneath your cardstock when you're using the adhesive.
Yes.
All right,
Absolutely.
we're gonna switch back over to my desktop. I want to show you the silicone craft mat is number 15 on this adhesive page. It's item number 127853. Next up, I'm going to share with you the foam adhesive strips and foam adhesive sheets. So on the page, I'm looking at number 4 and number 5. Okay, so these are the foam adhesive strips and the foam adhesive sheets. Let me show you what those look like in person. And we have the foam adhesive strips, which are just skinny, essentially like skinny Stampin' Dimensionals. So they come in these long strips. These are great for shaker cards to go around your frame. And then this is brand new in the 2022 to 20 or 2021 to 2022 catalog. It's foam adhesive sheets. And it is exactly the same material as a Stampin' Dimensional, but it is not cut into little hexagons. It is just a solid sheet of Stampin' Dimensionals foam adhesive on both sides with paper linings on both sides that you can use to die cut. And I do have to quantify or I do have to say it is intended to die cut open shapes. It's not intended to die cut detail shapes. That's what you want the adhesive sheets for, like Mom used on the sunflower. So I used the new framed floret or yeah, die to cut the oval from the adhesive sheets to make a shaker card. And you can use either adhesive for a shaker card. So I'm just going to show you one shaker card using this adhesive. So I got some other pieces that are die cut here and ready to go. I used some of the Fitting Florets designer paper and another die from that set. And so I'm going to use the die cut frame and attach it to another die cut frame. And I sandwiched the window sheet between two. At first I was gonna do pink for the frame for my shaker, but then I decided I wanted white, so I just put it on the other side. um, so I'm gonna start by peeling this off and centering it inside of the window. And this is going to be sort of our little well where we're going to add our shaker elements. So I'm using the fancy sequins. It comes in pink and green and blue. Mom, you used some of the blue ones earlier. And then
Yeah.
I also kept the hearts from the die cut. And so I'm going to throw
Oh,
those in there too and add those to the shaker. And then just a little bit of the shaker sequins, little element there. And so you want to get all that inside your frame. And then I'm going to peel off the backing. I love how easy this is with these foam adhesive sheets. Then I'm going to put, again, this has my window sheet in it. So this is going to go right over the top. And because it was die cut from the same thing, it lines up perfectly.
I love that.
I know, isn't that great? And so then it has your shaker. So this card is just going to be finished off with a little bit of a die cut designer paper. That's going to kind of come up here. And then the sentiment, just a little reminder that you're loved across the bottom to do our shaker card.
Beautiful.
I love that. So again, this is the adhesive foam adhesive sheets, which you can die cut, and the adhesive strips, which you could also use, especially if you had more of a rectangular shaker card. Is really great for that. Or if you just want Stampin' Dimensionals like in a different shape. I know that Amy uses the foam adhesive sheets a lot for die cutting letters that she wants to be, popped up, and she can have the cardstock layer, on top of the adhesive, the foam adhesive sheet, and then just have it kind of stacked up a little bit more. Okay, our next adhesive is the heat and stick powder. So I'm going to take a second to switch my desktop over and share with you this adhesive, which you might be scratching your head because you didn't realize it was an adhesive. Okay, our next adhesive is heat and stick powder. And you might look at this and you think, Julie, that looks like embossing powder. And I have to tell you, it works in much of the same way, but you're going to find it here on the adhesive page. It's number 12, the heat and stick powder, because it is an adhesive. It operates a lot like an embossing powder. So we're going to use the Versamark ink and we're going to put it on like embossing powder and tap it off. But when we heat it, instead of becoming a raised image, we're activating the glue. You can use heat and stick powder to put loose glitter on your projects. It is intended more recently with Stampin' Up! For use with the gilded leafing, which is a little bit messy. I don't normally use this, but just for you guys today, we are going to make this happen. So step one, I find that if you're wanting to use the gilded leafing, I think that it is easiest with a stamp set that has a two-step kind of image. So I'm using the Season of Chic stamp set, which has leaves that have a solid image and then an outline on top. And so I'm going to do this one in the color, and then we're going to do the gilded leafing with the outline. So first thing, we're going to stamp those leaves in soft succulent, and I'm just going to kind of stamp all over and move the leaves around so that they're different angles, just filling up the entire piece. And then we're going to stamp next with the Versamark and do the heat and stick powder. I don't want the heat and stick powder to be sticking to everything. And because I have some ink already on the cardstock, I'm going to use that embossing Betty just to kind of get rid of any extra moisture, so that, again, the heat and stick powder only sticks to the Versamark ink. So next up, we're going to stamp in Versamark. Versamark is a watermark ink pad. You can also use like an embossing ink pad. This is the Stampin' Up! Embossing ink pad. So we're going to just line up over each one with the outline image. And I suppose you don't have to line them up evenly. That could be a look as well, just to kind of have opposite images. I'm going to flip this paper over since I have some Versamark that came off of it, and I'm going to use the heat and stick powder, and just like embossing powder, I'm applying it to the image. And it is a clear powder, so it's going to be hard to see. I'm tapping off the extra, and I don't know how well you can see.
A little bit.
Yeah,
Trust me, it's there.
the image itself is a very fine image too, so I think it makes it a little harder to see. You're going to funnel that heat and stick powder right back into the jar so you can use it again. Next thing we are going to use is the heat tool to heat the heat and stick powder. And after we do this, we're going to put it inside the tray and use the gilded leafing. Oh, I'm like just breathing and it's going everywhere. So this is gonna have to be a pretty quick process because we want to get the gilded leafing onto the heat and stick powder while it's still wet and the adhesive has been activated. So I'm
Julie, you
going
might
to
want
heat.
to
Oh yeah,
cover on. Put your cover on.
Oh, I'm just gonna kind of move over here,
Okay.
because I have to put it on really quickly, and so I just need to be ready to go.
Yep. I keep my gilded leafing in a little like Tupperware like bowl, plastic bowl with a lid. So I find that to be a little bit helpful.
I have simply allowed it to kind of um, be wet, and then I'm going to put the gold leafing on. I use a sponge dauber and use the sponge dauber to then just like apply that leafing to the adhesive on the image. So I'm just going to kind of burnish that. Again, it's so hard because you have to work really quickly to get the leafing on the adhesive before the adhesive completely dries. Okay, such a mess, but the result
Oh my
truly
gosh.
is, I
Oh,
know, it's so beautiful.
I just think back to when Shelly and Sarah were demonstrating this and Shelly knocked over the gilded leafing all over the floor next to her.
Oh my goodness, that was funny. It is so, so messy. So let me show you the finished project here. There's the gilded leafing on the leaves, and here's the finished project you can
Oh,
see. I know, isn't that just
oh, it's
gorgeous?
so pretty.
Kind of a simple card, but you really get elevated with the gilded leafing and the foil texture sheet designer paper.
Very pretty, Julie.
Okay, we've got one more adhesive to share with you, and this is one that you won't necessarily be using to put cards together. So let me clear my table really quick, and I'm going to show you the last adhesive. Okay, the last adhesive on the page of adhesives to show you is the cling adhesive. It is number 7, which is right here, and it kind of blends in with the adhesive sheets, and you might not realize or really know what it's for. And so we wanted to take a minute today to show you. The cling adhesive is little squares, little rectangles of adhesive that is meant to help you convert your old clear mount stamps to cling mount. So this is an older stamp set. I really had to dig down through my boxes in the basement. Our previous rubber stamps that were cling were called clear mount, and they were called clear mount because they would go on a clear block and you would mount it to a clear block. Well, the vinyl sticker sheets were just not very sticky, and so the old stamps would fall off the block. This one I actually even added some, you could kind of see some two-way glue to help it be sticky, and even that has worn off now. So if you have some older stamps from Stampin' Up and the block, or the sticker rather, just doesn't seem like it's very sticky, then you'll definitely want to get some of this cling adhesive. It's item number 152452. You can also use the cling adhesive if you have older wood mount stamps that you would like to transfer, to convert is the word I was thinking of, to using them on a clear block. So this is how it's going to work. Just like when we are mounting a new cling mount stamp, you're going to take the sticker and you're going to peel it off the sheet and put it on the block. This is how I normally mount my stamps. Then you're going to take the liner off, and you're going to then add your stamp. And so when I am doing my new cling mount stamps, I put the rubber side down on the table, and then I take the stamp and I bring it over, usually like I'm lining up the sticker. But for this one, you can just go right in the middle and push down. By doing it this way, you're getting a nice even pressure on the whole stamp, and you won't have any puckering. Like if you tried to put it directly on, it might have a little puckering. So this way I've got nice straight, clean adhesion. So now my stamp, oh man, now it will stick right to the block. It will stick to the block, but my stamp is just so old. So that's not going to work. I'm just going to put it on the stamp, and now the stamp will be sticky and will hold to the clear block. So we can stamp and then we can take it off and it is going to stick on there. So you have to be careful when you're peeling this off. I just want you to know that what you're peeling off, that part is the part that goes on the block. And so if you just want to stick it on the block, even if you're not sticking it directly on, you don't want to peel it off and stick it straight to the stamp because it's the other side that needs to go on the stamp. This side is the cling adhesive and this side is the strong permanent adhesive. So if you're peeling it off and doing it, you want to put it on the block because that's where it goes. And then you can peel the paper backing off and then turn it and apply the other direction to the stamp. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
So
Good job.
taking another one because I did that flower. The other way you could do it, like I said, that what needs to go on to the stamp is what is under the top sticker part. So if you want to keep it on the sheet and just take off the paper backing, then you can turn this over and put it flat on here.
Oh,
But
yeah.
when you peel the whole thing off, this is what goes onto the block. And so then we've got, it's a rectangle, so you can just trim it to be the shape of your image. So that's what the cling adhesive is. It does, I think, it is a little confusing in the catalog because we have adhesive sheets and this is right next to it. The cling adhesive is not the same as adhesive sheets. The cling adhesive is for converting your stamps. And I think that was the last adhesive on the catalog page. I'm going to switch the camera over to your desktop, Mom, and you can show us one more time what our adhesive pouch offering looks like.
Sure, I'd be happy to. All right, so here is the pouch. I love this. Still plays with glue scissors. So we're including this Stampin' Up! Adhesive chart. So it'll give you a guide if you're concerned or confused about maybe what adhesive to use. Of course, I'll always tell you that you can't go wrong with multi-purpose liquid glue. Yeah. So just again, $25 plus shipping. You get a box of mini glue dots. You get a bottle of multi-purpose liquid glue. You get a roll of tear and tape, and you get a package of the regular dimensionals. So the original OG dimensionals.
All of our favorite adhesives in one pouch.
Absolutely. So the information will be in our description. If you have any questions, please get a hold of either one of us and we'll be happy to help you. All right.
Let's flip the camera around and we'll show off one of the cards that we shared today. I'm so glad we finally got a chance to do this video and share some tips using our favorite adhesives. We hope that the tips that we shared today were helpful to you, especially if you're just getting started with paper crafting. All the information, like we said, for the adhesive pouch is in the video description. So if you would like to get one, you can get them at any time and we'll try to keep them in stock until we run out of pouches.
Yes, we will. And with that, we know this was a longer than normal video, so we will not chit chat and we will just say until next Sunday stamping with Susan and Julie, have a wonderful week. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks so much for watching and be sure to tune in every Sunday for Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie at noon and 1 p.m. Eastern time. Although this video is not focused so much on sharing individual project ideas, normally we do. And so we hope that you'll be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on all the future episodes of Sunday Stamping.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you next time, Mom. Love you.
Love you too, Jay.